Search engine optimization is not just about your website. It is about getting people to your website, but also getting them to do something that you want them to do, like fill out your contact form or buy your product or even pick up the phone number and calling you. This next section is all about conversion rate and your conversion rate optimization. Conversion rate optimization is a science of making your website look and guide people who visit into going through and doing something that you need them to do in order to turn them into a web lead or a customer. So I want to look now at some of the basics of conversion rate optimization and then show you some samples of some sites that do a great job and some other sites that maybe don't do quite as good a job of their conversion rate optimization. The first thing you need to be aware of is that your goal is to bring visitors to relevant, targeted pages. You don't want to have just every page of your website being about everything. You want to have the customer who's searching for Seekonk, Massachusetts real estate pricing to come to the pricing page and have information and calls to action with things around pricing, the exact thing that they're looking for. You also want to make sure that you get to the really good stuff really quickly. You don't want to make them read through pages and pages before they find interesting things that they want to take out of this. You also want to be clear and concise with your headlines and remove any clutter or extraneous navigation from the site. You want to really get them focused in on the thing that they're looking for and get them focused in on following through on that call to action. Finally, you want to make sure that there's minimal reading. Now, I will say that there are a lot of people out there that want to read page after page of content and helping them get an education and make a decision. But most people are going to look and skim, and you want to provide a very sweet and concise one-page opportunity for them that gives them the gist that they need, and then provide links at the bottom for those people who do want to go through and read a lot more content. And then finally, you want to establish trust on your site. So how do you establish trust? Let's take a look at that. First of all, you want to be very consistent with any kind of advertising or messaging that you have out there. Here is an email that I received from a company called Keurig, and I've got a Keurig coffee machine, and it's one of those machines that has the little the K-cup that you drop in and it makes a single cup of coffee for you. So I'm constantly reordering different kinds of coffee from Keurig, and I'm a member of their Keurig club, and I got this email and I was curious, so I followed the link on the ad, and it took me to the Keurig homepage. And specifically, it took me to the K-Cup ordering section, which is what I would expect because I'd clicked the Order Now link. Now let's look at this. How did they establish trust with me? First of all, they used the same logo. It's on a different background, but it's the exact same logo, looks exactly the same. So I knew, you know what, I clicked a link in my email, it took me to the right website. Secondly, they used this trust image, this image of a cup of coffee. Now, again, it's slightly different. They're not just hammering me with the exact same image, but I went, you know what, okay, it's the same site, same cup of coffee, I know I'm in the right place. And then the next site I want to show you is how you can destroy trust. I was in Boston recently, and I was going to go to a Sox game, but I didn't quite make it. And I was like, you know what, maybe I can just order a Red Sox jersey and have it shipped to my house. And so I went to Google and I typed in Red Sox jersey, and I came across this really strange ad that said Lakers jerseys. And I was like, I'm in Boston. And this was just after the NBA Finals. How many Boston Red Sox fans want to see an ad for Lakers jerseys right now? So I followed the link thinking, I gotta see where this goes. And sure enough, it took me to Fans Edge, where they showed me a bunch of different Lakers jerseys. There was just a complete disconnect between this company and where they were running their ads. And it really kind of destroyed my trust. I did not want to do business with this company. The next thing that you can do to establish trust is show a phone number. Here is Veloci.com, and we put our phone number right up there in the upper right-hand corner of our site. We make it big, we make it bold. In fact, it's the biggest font that you can find on our homepage is our phone number. We had a real estate company in Austin that we did some business with, and the gentleman who owned the company, I said, "What do you want people to do? What's the best possible thing that a visitor coming to your site could do?" And he said, "You know what? If they would just pick up the phone and call us, we could find out more about them, and we could get them as a customer." I said, "Okay, well, let's make your phone number bigger." He's like, "Wait a minute, what are you talking about? My phone number is on the front page of my site. It's pretty good size." I was like, "You know what? If you want more calls, make it even bigger." And so we made it the biggest thing on the front page. We made it bold. We put it right up there in the heading, and sure enough, his phone started ringing more. So it works. If you put a nice big call to action on a website, a nice big phone number, you are going to get more phone calls. It establishes trust. And then another thing that you can do is provide credibility images on your site. Here's another customer of Valachi's, and if you notice down here at the bottom, they sell a over-the-counter supplement, and down here at the bottom you see that we added the BBB accredited business, and then just their SSL global sign security certificate tag. And these are images that show, hey, this company has established themselves and are trusted by other organizations. Especially that BBB image was very helpful for them. It showed that, hey, this is not just a cheap product that we get lots of complaints about and lots of returns. No, we stand behind our product, and if you don't like it, you can return it, or you can use the BBB to make sure that you're going to get taken care of. So this is a great way of establishing trust. Another way to establish trust is to provide customer testimonials. I'm going to look at another previous client of Valachi called Zappos.com. And I will say we did not have anything to do with this particular section that I'm going to show you, but I really like it because Zappos does such a great job of using customer testimonials. I went to their New Balance page and I found a shoe that I liked, but further down on the page it's got this section, and I didn't have to click and go anywhere else. I just scrolled down and I saw all these customer testimonials and reviews for the shoes that I was looking for. And so what they do is they provide with a date and an actual name and city of the person who posted it. So that gives it a real sense of timeliness and that this is a real thing. This wasn't just made up by some of their employees or something. And then they give, instead of just one rating, they actually give you 3 different ratings that you can choose from: overall, comfort, and style. And overall you may like a shoe, but the style's not that great, but it's incredibly comfortable or something. But these are the things that people look at when they're buying a shoe. And then you get little bitty, a few words, less than a Twitter post's worth of space to put in how you feel about these different areas of the shoe. And then of course they give you a nice big area that you can type in your full review, talk about the shoe. This lady was talking about her husband and how he wears them to work and at home and all these things. It was great. It's a great review. It makes me feel really good about buying the shoe. And Zappos did very little to generate that particular review. They created a system and it made it very easy for their customers to write it, and their customers did and created that content on behalf of Zappos that Zappos can use to generate more and more customer loyalty. Now this does one other thing for Zappos. What happens is that if customers consistently give bad reviews to a shoe, it sells less and less. Zappos as a company provides free shipping both ways, which means if somebody returns a shoe, Zappos is paying for the shipping to get the shoe back from that customer. And so if they can reduce sales of shoes that are going to generate unhappy customers, they've actually increased their profit margins. And so this is an example of customers reviewing the product and therefore increasing directly Zappos's profit on each and every sale. So when you do actually create a new section of your site, that's going to be a landing page. And a landing page is the first page somebody sees when they come to your website. You want to do what's called landing page optimization, which is to make sure that what they see is going to lead them down the path to conversion. So what I've come up with is a little pre-flight checklist, and this is not all-inclusive of everything that you must possibly do, but these are the things that I think are the most commonly overlooked or really most obvious things that people somehow tend to forget about. first things first, does the contact form work? If you want people to fill out a form and click a button, when they do that and click that button, is it functional? Does it actually generate the email or increment the database or whatever it is that you need that form to do to capture that information? So test the form and have multiple people test it from different browsers and make sure that it works. Have you done proper quality assurance? Have you looked at it on a number of different computers, different operating systems, different browsers to make sure that it looks the way that you expect it to? IE6 is still one of the most popular browsers that are still in use today. I know we're all sick of IE6, but it really is important that your site functions properly and well with that old browser. Can the server handle it? Have you optimized your server with the bandwidth, speed, scalability, robustness that it needs to handle the amount of traffic that's going to be coming to your website based on this new campaign? And have you put lots of eyeballs on your landing page? Have you shown it to people who don't know your business? Have you shown it to people and asked them questions about it? And in order to help us do that, I've come up with a game that we use at Veloci, and it's called the 7-second rule. And that is, can I show this to somebody for 7 seconds and then have them answer 4 or 5 basic questions about the site? And if the answer is no, or they're not really getting the point after only seeing it for 7 seconds, then I know I've got more work to do. So what I'd like to do right now is demonstrate the 7-second game to you. And then we kind of reduce it. We go 6 seconds, we go 5 seconds. If I can get somebody to look at a site for 4 seconds and get the main points that I'm trying to get across, I know I've built a really terrific landing page. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. First of all, I'm going to show you this for 7 seconds, and then I'm going to take it away. And then I'm going to bring it back out, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. Let's see how you do. So here's a site. I took this screenshot. This has been 4 or 5 days ago now, and it's of Walmart. Okay, so take a look at that, and let's see. Here are the answers to my questions. Very simply, who's the company? That's pretty clear. It's Walmart. What are they trying to sell? It might take you a little bit to find this one, but if you look at the breadcrumb there, you can see this is a video game section of their site. It's not really obvious. It seems like to me they should put video games a lot bigger so that it's very clear to me where I am and that I've come to the right section. Which ones get free shipping? Well, it's a little bit of a trick question. Actually, it's 97-cent shipping to your home. So that's kind of their biggest offer there on the page is that, hey, you're going to only pay 97 cents to have this shipped to your home. What's the main call to action on this page? It's not real obvious, but it's probably this right here, pre-order now. And the interesting thing about this is that I took this screenshot after that particular game had already been released, StarCraft 2, and but they still had the pre-order now button on there, which kind of led me to believe maybe they didn't update their website as often as they need to. And what's a secondary call to action? There are not a lot of them, but maybe this one, pre-order the Kinect. And okay, I guess you could say come visit the Walmart Vision Center, but then again I'm left wondering, how many people who are on the Walmart video game page looking at video games are going to be that interested in coming to the Walmart Vision Center and getting their eyes checked out? I'm not sure there's a lot of overlap between those two audiences, so I'm not sure how good of a call to action that one is. So, well, what do you think? It's a good or bad landing page? It's okay. It's not great. It certainly could be a lot better. Let's take a look at another one. This time I'm going to give you 6 seconds. Ready? Here we go. Okay. Let's see if you can get some of these answers and how well you did. Number one, who is the company? Well, again, that's pretty obvious. It's Allstate. They did a good job with that. What are they trying to sell? Here it's not quite so obvious to me. I'm looking through the page. I guess if I look way up at the top, I see that they're selling insurance, But exactly what kind of insurance are they selling? Because I know Allstate, they carry a lot of different types. There's a picture of a house, there's a picture of a car, there's a picture of a man and his family. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to tell until I can see over here that they're talking about drivers. Okay, so they must be selling car insurance on this page. So what's the average savings? I think they did a good job. They called that out. Saved $348 a year on average. That's pretty good. That's a really hefty savings. It's specific. It tells me exactly what I should expect, and that's a great call right there. A really good call out. And then what is the main call to action on this page? And I think they did a wonderful job. They've got the start menu or the start button down here below, your zip code, and push the start button. I think it's pretty obvious what they want you to do. That's great. And it gets you where you're engaging with the company and moving forward in the process. And then I always like to ask the question, what are the secondary calls to action? What if I don't want to do that? I don't want to give you my zip code. I don't want to click any buttons. What else could I do? And they make it very clear that if you don't want to do that, you know what? Here's the phone number. It's right beneath the main call to action. It makes it very easy for you to go and pick up the phone and place that call and get a human being in the process here. So that's good. And then they have this other secondary call to action, learn more about Allstate Insurance. That's good. It's for those people that are kind of digging deeper and looking for a little bit more before they're willing to engage. So what do you think? Is that good or bad? I like it. I think it's a good landing page. It's got all the elements you need. Tells you who the company is. Good call to action. Very nice secondary call to action. I bet you they do very well with this page. Let's look at one more, and this time I'm only going to give you 5 seconds to look at it. Here we go. Okay, a little bit tougher. Let's look for some answers. Who's this company? Well, if I follow the same pattern as the other two examples we looked at, then I would be looking right up here. And what's there is All Firsts. Is that the company? Is this company All Firsts? If I'm just glancing, maybe I might come away with that impression, but no, this is actually a company is Sprint, the wireless carrier. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure that I agree with their decision to put their Sprint logo there in the middle of the page, because that's not where people generally go to look for that kind of information. But that's what they did. Okay. Well, what are they trying to sell here? I'm not. When I look at the lower right, I can kind of see, yeah, it's this 4G phone called the Evo. And I guess I would have to say that's what they're trying to sell, but it's kind of off and to the right and kind of down low on the page. I'm not sure that was really good placement. It's a little confusing to me. What's the offer? I'm looking first. I don't know. I don't see an offer on this page. It's very confusing to me. I'm not really sure what it is that they're trying to get me to do. I guess I'll kind of keep going here, keep asking questions. Frankly, at this point, I would probably leave this page. I don't know that I'm really enticed, but let's keep going just for the sake of the experiment. What am I supposed to do? I think I'm supposed to click on one of these images. So I picked this one, the little robot guy, since I think that's appropriate since this is a Lullabot video. So I clicked that one, and I came up with this page, and it says first robot dance streamed at 4G speed. Am I supposed to video myself doing a robot dance? No. Well, it wants me to upload my photo and enter some information. What is that? My name, my location, and my email address? Am I supposed to put in grid coordinates there, or my address? Or is somebody going to come to my house and sell me a phone? And why do they want my email address? And what are they going to do with that information? I'm not liking this at all. I hit the back button. I don't even know what happens after that. I didn't try it. I wasn't impressed with that screen. So, what's the call to action? Well, after spending a few minutes looking at the page, I have noticed that they have a Find a Store link and a Contact Us link. Not particularly enthralling, not really enticing to me, but that's what they want me to do. Okay, I get it now. So I'll click on that if I want to buy one of these phones. Well, what do you think? Is this a good or bad landing page? It's obviously high production value. They put a lot of effort into it, but ultimately to get people to do the things that they want them to do, I don't know, there's just too many hurdles and it's not really clear really even what that is that I'm supposed to do. I don't like this one at all. All right, so now you've learned a little bit about how you can test out your landing pages. What I recommend is you take those landing pages, go outside the front doors of your office, grab somebody who doesn't know you, give them $5, sit them down in front of the computer and say, hey, take a look at this for 5 seconds and tell me what you think. And just gather some information about other people's experiences with your website. You'll be amazed at how insightful people can be. So the next thing I want to tell you about is ABCD, which is always be collecting data. It's one of the base tenets of running a good solid business is to know exactly what's going on. And the same thing applies even more so when you're doing an SEO or online marketing campaign. So what kind of data should you be collecting? Well, of course, collect leads. If somebody's filling out a leads form, they want to do business with you, you definitely have to be collecting those. Next, checkout data. You know, how many people make it all the way through your checkout based on how many people started your checkout. If you only have 1% of the people who start the checkout get through to the end of your checkout, you've got some major issues with that part of your website, and you really need to be collecting data on every single step so you know what's going on. What about emails? How many emails does your company receive from your customers or from interested parties? What about your newsletter that you send out? How many people open it? How much traffic do your email newsletters generate to your site? And what do those people do after they come to your site? Are there things that you could change about the email to increase those metrics? Newsletter signups is another fantastic one. A lot of people may not want to buy right away, but they want to get more information or know that they can get information in the future, and so they might sign up for your newsletter. And then finally, phone calls. That's a often overlooked area where you really can collect metrics on how many people pick up the phone and call you based on having seen your website. You know, a very simple way to do that is to get a different phone number for your website and put that phone number only on your website and just make it an 800 number and tie it back into your main switch. Then when you get your phone bill at the end of the month, you can see how many people called in. Very simple, very basic, doesn't give you a lot of metrics, just kind of a number, but at least you'll get an idea, hey, my website's effective and it generates and drives people to my site. If you want to get a little bit more complicated and give you a lot more data that's more meaningful, there are several services out there that are called dynamic telephone number replacement services. The one that comes to mind is called If by Phone, and for I think it's 40 or 50 bucks a month. You install the If by Phone module on your site, which is there is a Drupal module for this, and you sign up for a couple of different phone numbers. And if somebody comes in from Google to your website, that module will actually switch out the phone numbers on your site for the Google phone number, and you're just designating one of those numbers to be the Google phone number. And then whenever somebody calls that number, it actually will route through If by Phone to your lines. It's invisible to your customers, it's invisible to your customer service or salespeople answering the phones, but by routing it through their switch, they can gather data on telephone call length, where exactly that call came from, what the results were, and then there's all kinds of nice charts and graphs that they give you to tell you, how many calls you're getting and how many leads your site's generating from Google. And then if somebody comes in from Yahoo, they'll switch out a different number, and from Bing, they'll do a different number. And you can actually get very granular and get it right down to the keyword level and see what keywords are generating the traffic to your site. So there's a lot of really neat things that you can do with dynamic phone number replacement. Even if you just do a basic phone number, get one, put it on your site, that's better than not tracking at all. Especially if you're trying to justify the expense of an extensive SEO campaign, this is a critical thing that you can do to measure that success. Now let's go to our site and see if we can make a few tweaks. If you remember, we're using the base Drupal theme, which is not that beautiful. Notice I've got my little Drupal icon over here. My contact call to action here in the upper right hand corner is not that strong. The layout really leaves a lot to be desired. And you know, this is not a theming video. There are great theming videos, but we just decided we're going to make a few tweaks to this one and see if we can't just improve it just a little bit. I'm going to open up a new tab and refresh. I've turned on this great new theme, and now we can kind of compare. Notice large phone number in the upper right hand corner. This is a huge call to action. Will result in a lot more people finding us and actually calling rather than the non-existent phone number on our original, or rather phone number way down in the footer of the site. We've got our name of our company and what it is that we're selling. We have a house. That's an image that does a little bit more to project, hey, this is a real estate website. We also have a secondary call to action. You know, I probably would turn this blue and underline it or something like that, make it really look like a link, but this takes me to my contact page. I've got my sections that I've created, my sitemap, and then I go down into some content. If this is a real estate site, I'd probably maybe put a tab here for linking to a list of homes, or maybe a map, or there are lots of other elements that I might work into this page to make it more appealing and to lead people down the path I need them to go through to convert into a visitor. But you know what? Sometimes the simplest things you do can be the most effective, and this phone number right here was quite easy to add to my theme and really will increase my conversion rate. So ultimately, the conversion rate of your website is going to spell the difference between success or failure of an SEO campaign. So we spend a lot of time talking about that. I hope that was helpful. I know that sometimes it's very easy to think of a content idea, create it, and throw it up on your website. But really, that haphazard way of running a website will ultimately lead to frustration because your visitors will come in, they don't really know where to go or what to do. What I recommend that you do is sit down, think about what visitors are coming to your site. You could even write a persona or find a photo that kind of looks like what you think your customer looks like, and then think about what are they trying to get to? What is it that you want them to do? And then work your way backwards from there, figuring out how to build the confidence with that customer, how to get them to click the next button, how to fill out the form, how to ultimately give them what they're looking for so that you can get what you're looking for. You put all these things together with a clear SEO strategy and you have a combination for a fantastic campaign.